in a few hours it's going to switch. And it's going to come from that direction and slam into this shoreline.
Southeast winds 40 to 50 knots, with gusts to around to 75 knots. Seas 18 to 21 feet, with occasional seas to 28 feet.
Like, there is nothing I can do. This is bad.
Your stern line snaps, Highlander. You're now, we are free. The line snaps. You're no longer connected. Directions and try to do the best you can. Don't panic.
Hey everybody! We are Cade and Misha of For Love of Wind. Welcome back, or if you're new here, welcome. So this video is going to be a little different. Typically, Misha and I are inseparable. We do everything together. We do everything on the boat together. And for the brunt of this video, we were separated. If you watched last week's video, we left it. We had sent our dinghy off to be repaired. We had taken off our batteries. Our inverter had fried and we had removed it. We had new batteries and new inverter on the boat physically, but not installed.
And Nicole was just kind of a blip on the radar. She was a storm, a tropical storm.
Not even a thing. She wasn't even a tropical storm. On Friday, there was nothing. There was a forecast for some storm in the Bahamas. By Sunday, forecast to be coming at us directly, at Cape Canaveral directly, as a tropical storm by Sunday.
Right.
The marina is slowly emptying. We are at condition whiskey, which means mandatory evacuations. They're pulling all the floating docks out. They have no room for anybody in the yards. What do you think about condition whiskey?
Tropical storm Nicole is bearing down on us, and it's looking increasingly likely that it's going to become a hurricane. And so Cape Marina, actually,
The whole Port Canaveral
has ordered a mandatory evacuation, so everybody has to leave.
Of course, with dogs, even in an emergency, the show must go on. Such a beautiful full moon, or actually I think the full moon's tomorrow, and not a horrible sunset, although horrible is coming. So Misha is actually not going to stay with us. We were not ready for this, so all our cars are still here, and the dogs have not been practicing going to the potty on deck.
I don't know, really, truthfully right now, I don't know whether it would be a more stressful situation to have all of us on board trying to figure it out, or to have only one on board that's handling the anchors and watching the boat, waking up every 2 hours, or staying up all night maybe to check on the boat. I don't know what is the lesser of two evils.
So we have to leave now. Mad scramble to provision, and a whole bunch of lunch meat, a whole bunch of sandwich fixins, granola bars, some Mountain Dews,
Peanut butter.
Good
old-fashioned peanut butter. Survival food.
And then, of course, the requisite 3 cases of beer, because I'd be out there for 5 days.
Of course.
So at Cape Marina, there's a lock that keeps water, keeps tides from surging into the Banana River, which is a sheltered area, and then further along the Indian River, where the Intercoastal Waterway is, the ICW. Between Banana River and the Intercoastal Waterway is what's called the Barge Canal, and literally it's a small canal carved through mangroves that they allow boats to go between the Banana River and the Indian River. And then a couple of the blow boaters are going to go just tie up to the mangroves in the Barge Canal. So that was my plan. Go tie up with some friends in the Barge Canal to the mangroves. Those locks close at 35 miles an hour of wind. So if you are not out of the port by the time those locks close, you have to go out to sea. You still have to leave. It's not like, oh, well, the locks are closed, you're fine. You still have to leave. You just have to go out to sea in the hurricane.
Right.
Anyway, go ahead.
So we couldn't take a chance that
the winds would get gusty and then the lock would close.
So we evacuate to the barge canal.
So this is where I had breakfast. Boat's a wreck. I got to clean all that up. We left in a hurry. Had the drone out a little earlier. Got my radio, my orange, my granola bar, big cup of water. See, it's starting to get busy. So it's Bill, Sonny, Dan, and Johnny, all the BDOT guys, and this is Ken and Slowpoke. I've got a big heavy backup stern anchor out, which caught some seaweed last night, as you can see. And then it tied off to an oak tree and a palm tree. Figure one of them will hold. And then I literally put out almost all the anchor we have. It goes way out there. So Dan helped me with his dinghy to organize and locate everything. We've seen manatees out here this morning, which is awesome. I slept like a baby because it was very, very quiet. I have giant backup lines ready in case I need to lash myself to another tree. But I do feel pretty confident that the trees will be as good an anchor as the anchors. So now we wait.
This giant, like 90-foot, 100-foot steel shrimp boat is coming down the barge canal, and he keeps trying to tuck in between all these different sailboats, and everybody's yelling at him, and there's not room for this guy. I'm waiting for him to try and get between me and my buddies in front of me. My radio chirps, and my handheld was downstairs. I ran down into the salon, I grabbed the radio, I was like, "What's up?" It's my friend, like 100 yards in front of me. "Hey, I think that shrimp boat's gonna try and park in front of you." Yeah, I was on the bow watching. Why are you talking to me? Anyway, run back upstairs, and he's like, heavy throttle, he rams into the mud. His bow comes up on the mud. He doesn't go into the mangroves, but he comes up right like that on the mangroves. Bow out of the water, up on the mud pretty hard. And I scream at him, I'm like, "You're on my anchor!" And he said, "It's okay, it won't hurt my boat." And I was like, "You can't park there, what if I swing?" And I'm not kidding you, the guy's like, "Okay, I got you." And he threw some fenders over that side. I was like, clearly this is happening.
He was doing his part.
Oh man, midnight on the boat in the canal. There's the hurricane coming ashore. We're actually up here. I'm anchored well, hopefully. Or that's not true. I'm not anchored well. I'm tied to a tree on shore. And I have a stern anchor that's only supposed to hold me against the current I put out. Where we're at is a ton of current. It's ridiculous. It doesn't shift direction, thankfully. It's kind of like a river. It only blows one way. But yeah, the line there, if it doesn't hold, I will swing into some boats that showed up randomly and parked too close to me. So I'm going to go outside and we're going to go look at lines and see how close that is. We're really rolly. It's really windy. I'm not super happy to be here. You can see the rain bands going across the water. The wind is just tearing it up. It's not so bad under the Dodger here. And the upside to these boats being out here is they run their lights all night. But they're way too close. So this is my dock neighbor, Slowpoke. You can see he's got a bow line and he's got a stern line to shore. And that was smart. I have that line back there that is connected to a big stern anchor I threw out. And that line's the only thing holding me against the current. If you can, I don't know if you can tell, but the current is actually blowing that direction, or flowing that direction pretty heavily. Thankfully the wind is blowing that direction, so I'm running on reduced power right now, or I'm trying to save power. Just running off the lithiums in the inverter, keeping everything as low power as possible. So more to follow. Ooh, there's a big lane. Yeah. Stuff's falling down. I gotta go take care of it. Yeah, nice. All right. Got the handy standard Horizon radio. A lot of the guys up and down the channel are on a specific frequency. We've been talking to each other. There's a sailboat about 4 or 5 boats up from me that started dragging. We may get to see that pass by shortly, or get blown into trees or whatever. Anyway, it's impossible to sleep. It's like 2 in the morning. It's bearing down on us really hard right now. It's this like unrelenting force that you can't do anything about. Ooh. Man, that is hitting. Like, there is nothing I can do. I just get to sit here and watch it happen. I tried to prepare as best I could. And if things start to go wrong, maybe I can compensate. Throw some extra lines, or, tie up some stuff. I won't go anywhere because I am tied to a tree, and I'm very, very confident in that. But my stern anchor is the only thing keeping me from swinging into these shrimp boats that pulled in right next to me. I do appreciate their lights, and truthfully, I think they're being a little bit of a windbreak. I feel like this side is getting less beat up than that side of the canal. But, I was just, every 10 minutes you run up top side, and because you feel like you're swinging or you feel like you're rocking. It does not let up. It's not like, oh, well, this will pass quick. This will pass in like 8 hours. I have 8 hours of this. It's 2 in the morning now. It should be done by 10. And there's lulls in it, right? So you get this little trough where it's like, oh, the winds are only like 15 or 20, and that's not so bad. And then, bam, it hits you with this like ferocity, and not even just the rain, but like the wind will lean the boat way over, and you start to spin, and then you're like, oh, did I lose a line? It is insane. We have owned this boat for what, 3 months now? August, September, October. So 3.5 months we've had this boat. We haven't gone anywhere. We sailed it up from Miami. But other than that, we've been at this area. And we're suffering 2 hurricanes. I know it's Florida and hurricanes are to be expected. But both of these were very rare hurricanes. right? Hurricane Ian, the eye went over the top of this boat. Was like one of the more damaging ones that Florida's had in recent history. and then this one, Hurricane Nicole, it's a late season Atlantic hurricane hitting the east side of Florida, which hasn't happened this late since like 1934 or something like that. I'm sure somewhere up here we'll have the right date, but and you know, everybody can get a pity party going, and it's like, I bought a boat, now I got storms. That's true. But in terms of experience, I feel like this is going to turn down the volume on all the squalls we ever encounter from here on out. Because this is our second hurricane in 4 months to actually anchor in and weather up. I'm getting better, I'm learning better. If I had it to do over again, I would have not second guessed myself and just tied a bigger line to a tree for my stern as well. I mean, it's all part of the learning process. If my compliance officer had been here, that's Misha, she might have said, let's just do it anyway. I mean, it means, you know, swimming ashore, but the second line didn't occur to me until like this morning, and by this afternoon it was definitely too late. So we're back in one of those surges where it blows hard again. When the wind turns directly from the south, right? So this is an east-west canal, and right now the wind is like north, northeast. It's eventually going to turn straight east down the canal, and that's going to be mean. But that at that point, having the boat arranged this way to keep it off of shore, I think will pay off in spades. And hopefully the push of the current on the keel away from shore, especially when the wind starts coming directly from the south, will keep me enough off of shore. Woo! Yeah, it's getting blustery now. I don't know if you guys can see those trees over there, but it is brutal. Anyway, with the pull of the current keeping me offshore, once the wind is trying to blow me onshore, I'm hoping there's some balance to be achieved there. Ooh, it is nasty.
So they left these giant floodlights on the whole event. So all of my friends who are upstream, upwind a little in the barge canal, it's dark, it's black, wind's blowing, they can't see very much at all, the occasional flash of lightning. I can see everything. I don't know if you
can see, there's some debris in the water that you can see occasionally. Oh, there was a dolphin. Did you see the dolphin? I saw the dolphin. Straight out, watch for the dolphin, far shore. There he goes, see him? How cool. Trying to conserve battery as much as possible. I actually have a lot more battery left to go, but thank goodness I bought a ton of batteries. Unfortunately, I got all those batteries, I didn't get them all installed properly, and I don't mean they're installed improperly, I meant I was only halfway through that project. So I've got, 8,000 watts of lithium, not quite. I think it's 760 amp hours at 12.8 volts. So whatever that is of battery. I've got a 4,000 watt inverter that could. It's half of what our generator puts out, but they're not installed yet. So I've been using literally jumper cables to the inverter wired in directly, and it's worked so far. Not ideal. I'm really trying to conserve as much power as possible, so I think the only things on right now is the bilge pump and the water pump, sump pumps, stuff like that, right? All the stuff on float switches that doesn't actually use power until it's needed. Boy, it is mean. So, okay, well, I don't know if you can see through the isinglass my line to the shore. I'm swinging around quite a bit. I'm not swinging around, I mean, I'm wiggling, right? A line in front and a line in back, but I don't know if you can tell, there's actually like swell blowing upriver, right? The current's all going out that way, but you can see these swell, these big wind-blown waves. Ooh, here comes a big one. Ah, good night. That was a powerful gust there, oh yeah. Clean my lens. You need to really Rain-X the camera lens because apparently we only use this case so far. It's the dive case for the GoPro and we really only use it for hurricanes. So now I'm going to call it the Hurricane case. I think that's a good name for it. Hurricane case. Anyway. I have no choice but to sit here and watch it unfold. Ground zero. It is ripping through here. Right now, because it's coming out of the northeast, it's coming over the top of the mangroves that are right here. If you look on when I was showing you the other shore, look, that tree line was getting really beat up because the wind comes off the mangroves here and slams into that shoreline. In a few hours, it's going to switch. And it's going to come from that direction and slam into this shoreline. And that's when literally the ship will hit the mangrove. The ship will hit the fan, so to speak. So, all right, y'all be safe. I'm trying to keep it together. I'm not excited about it. Have my little headlamp on to get stuff done. Or, I can turn it way down and illuminate my face. To secure stuff, right? Halyard's not tight enough. Go tighten it up so it's not bing, 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 bing on the mast. Oop, somebody's on the radio. Stand by. Rolly.
Sonny to Dan and Johnny. Sonny to Dan and Johnny. Go ahead, boss. Yeah, sailboat in front of us, yeah, it's probably going to come out soon. And his power line isn't far behind him. So, FYI, man, this guy's pretty loose in front of me. And I'm not saying he's going to break anytime soon. But that last surge just put his ass in, looking right at me. Yeah, 10-4. I've been kind of keeping an eye on it. We got to do some anchor tightening, snubber stuff ourselves. All right. Well, when he comes at me, I'm pushing off. Just letting you know, so you guys stay steady. Yeah, sounds good, Sonny. Yeah, fend that thing off and get it the hell out of your way, and, you know, let the insurance company take it from there. Roger that, I'll let you know. Man.
So yeah, there's me here, and then this cluster of 4 shrimp boats. Just the other side of that is Tumbleweed, and it's on screen. I don't remember the name of Johnny's boat. And forward of that is Sunset Cruiser or something like that. I don't remember the name of Sonny's boat either. And EOS. They're tied up next to each other. EOS is lashed to the tree line like me. Tumbleweed and Johnny's boat are rafted up together, and they got a bow line to shore like I did. And then they're using, ooh, that was a transformer. And then they're using stern anchors, and then they actually have some big extra anchors thrown into the channel to try and keep them away. They're really concerned about being washed ashore. Tumbleweed is a very heavy boat. It's an aluminum 48 full keel. It's like 40,000 pounds. By comparison, Flow is a 26,000 pound. Anyway, in front of them is a Jeanneau. I think it's a Jeanneau, like a 54. It's just anchored across the channel, literally like sideways, probably because the current blew him that way before he got anchored. So those guys up there are dealing with that. The wind's blowing it down towards us. Thankfully, I'm behind these big shrimp boats, right? These are like 80 footers, 100 footers. It's not going to hit me. But you know, they're in the shooting gallery right now. These shrimp boats are hilarious. They when they pulled in here, I was very upset about it because they were way too close. Yeah, they are like a steady rock, and I'm right behind them, so they're going to act as a wave break and a wind break, and anything coming down the canal this way, which is against the current but with the wind, it's going to bounce off them and not me. So more updates to follow. I'm going to go back downstairs for a little while. Not getting any sleep, but I try and close my eyes in 15-minute chunks. We're definitely in the worst of it right now. 4 in the morning.
Hey, Robert. Hey, it looks like our boys behind me just washed up on shore.
Very concerned. My stern anchor line is way out of position. I'll get this up here. I'm halfway tempted to go swim another line over to that tree line because my stern anchor line is in bad position right now. I think it drug heavily. We're at a point right now where the winds are blowing me onto shore, which is fine. I'm okay with that. But when it all calms down, I'm going to swing back out towards the shrimp boats. And that's going to be a problem.
Your stern line snaps, Highlander. You're free. The line snaps. You're no longer connected. Directions and try to do the best you can. Yeah. Don't panic. No. Look at you swinging in the road. That's it.
Oh.
At the sailboat Highlander going down the barge canal going westbound. He's not under power.
Holy cow, that is a big blow. Somebody's sailboat already broke free. I only have one line attaching me to the tree.
Lander, make sure you down a life jacket. Down a life jacket. A life jacket, please.
This is the worst of it right now. Boats are breaking free. I'm nervous for my lines. And then of course, whenever this is done, one of my lines is out of position, I know, which will cause me to swing. So the only thing keeping me from not swinging right now is the direction of the wind. This is bad.
Say you had a line wrapped around your prop? Maybe, but just with one wing only.
Oh, I am not happy. This sucks. This is the lesson. If you have an opportunity to put out more lines, put out more lines. I may go swimming, put on a life jacket, and go swimming just to put another line out to that tree.
You're pretty good holding there. Are you on the power?
We'll see.
Yeah, my engine has died twice now.
Those shrimp boats that are wedged into the ground, they're not even rocking. I envy them. I wish I was wedged into the ground.
Like your anchor cord. Maybe.
Man, every time the boat swings out on that wind,
You'll have your anchor out.
yanks that rope, front line I've got.
You might get that anchor chain pulled up in your prop to a reel.
This is a bad day for some people, for a lot of people. It's a bad day for me. But we're weathered it so far. I'm not having a good day. It's not a bad day. Oh my goodness. It's supposedly a muddy bottom here. If we hit bottom, should be a soft landing. There's no big wave, so it shouldn't bounce me. We'll find out. The wind's coming right down the canal now, right? Now it's a east to west blow. Whoa. like shaking the boat. All right, well, if I see something more energetic, I'll turn the camera back on, but for right now, I'm just going to sit quietly and panic. All right, here's my 5 a.m. update. I guess I don't need this headlamp here. The storm turned north. The eye wall is just south of us, a few miles. Just so ridiculous. It's bad. It's windy. It's very frustrating. It's one of those things where, like, there's nothing I can do, right? I'm set where I'm set. I can't pull something in to make it better or loosen. I mean, everything is the way it is. So, ooh, that was a big one. I can't make things better. I can't do anything, but I can't like go to sleep, because if something goes wrong, I need to be right there to try and somehow adjust and fix it, or come up with another new strategy. So this started last night. This started hitting hard and heavy about 10:30 last night. It's 5 a.m. now. I spent like 90% of that time in the cockpit. We have an amazing Dodger and Bimini. So I've actually stood right here in the face of like 70-mile-an-hour wind, and still dry for the most part. I've gone out a couple of times and secured things that were rattling around. I got a strap over here. I can't get tight right now, and I'm not going to sweat it. It's just a little strap, so it's not a big deal. I keep staring at the one rope I've got to a tree. Either the rope's going to break, or the cleat's going to come off, or we're going to hold, right? Those are the three options. I can't do anything more to it. It's tied very well, properly. It's tied to the tree properly. It doesn't look like it's chafing at all. It's a big, heavy anchor rode. So it's as good as it's going to get. I just have to wait and see which of those three options, rope break, cleat come off, or it holds, it happens. I'm hopeful for holds. I talked about trying to put a stern line on. That's only to hold myself against current once all of this stops. The wind is not expected to blow from the stern. So, or at least not at any speed, right? The storm should be past us and blowing like 5 or 10. 5 or 10, my stern anchor holds just fine. So, for now, it looks like I have about another 2 hours to ride out, according to the weather. Around 7 a.m., it should be past us enough that it starts to slow down. The wind starts to slow down. It is downgraded to a tropical storm now. Yay. Now that the eye wall's almost here comes a big one. Ooh. You can actually hear the gusts traveling down the canal and across the shrimp boats. So you can brace a little. I've been heeled over pretty hard by a couple of gusts, right? The boat was like way lean. I don't have any sails out or anything. I have my sail bag still up there, so I guess it catches a little wind, but we've been on that lean with bare pole. So you can see all the boats have been kind of pushed up against the shoreline. I don't think I'm on the bottom, so that is good, but I may have nudged it a little. It's a very muddy bottom here, so it's nice. It's nice and soft. I mean, truthfully, when you're on the hard, they set the sailboat on the keel, and that's a thing. I don't want to damage my keel, so I don't want to be on the ground. I don't want to run aground, but if being stuck in a little mud helps hold me a little better, I only need to get through the next couple of hours. This has been a very long night. You know, thankfully my wife has been texting me. Yeah, so, woo, there's a good one. That's actually helped to pass the time quite a bit, right? Different from conversing with her, having a phone call with her. Having to text and then wait for a reply and then text eats up more time. Conversations move slower. I mean, she got some sleep. I think she started texting me about 4:30. But yeah, this is madness. Hurricanes in a sailboat. I'm not a fan. I mean, if we come through it unscathed, the experience is great. I know how to prepare and what to do next time. Whoa, that's a lean. I don't know if that showed up, but dang. We were hard over on that one. You can see slowpoke back there. Well, of course, now that I show you, they're not rolling, but it's rolly. So anyway, yeah, this has just only made me stronger and more knowledgeable about how to prep for these kind of things, right? There won't be surprises. I don't know that I would want to do more than a category 1. Let's see if we can get this lean. There you go. See how that blows the boat over? Woo-wee. That is vicious. So I was upset when those shrimp boats parked there, but I've never been so thankful for their giant lights that light up everything. And I mean, you can see even through the Dodger, they block all of that wind coming from that direction. They don't block all of that wind, but they are an obstacle. You know, and you can see out here, we've got heavy surf coming in, and yet I get nothing because those guys are blocking that as well. So once all this calms down, the concern is that the current will blow me back into them. But when there's no more 70-mile-an-hour winds, I can make adjustments and stuff like that. So, ooh, there's a lean. Remember, the top of the tower is level, so if you see that rolled over, it's heavy. The eye wall was getting close to us. It was still pretty south, but and when I say pretty south, like 10 miles. It was supposed to be like 100 miles. But 2 more hours of this. Yeah, those power boats down there, the one closest to us is the Salty Dog. Looks like they have just decided to turn into the mud, which is the smart thing to do. That's what they should have done. Like, find a shallow spot where you're not in the mangroves themselves, in the actual trees, but you're aground. Then you're not going anywhere. So, light should be coming back in about an hour and a half, maybe. I don't know, sun's up. I am looking forward to all of this calming down and sleeping for like 24 hours. So. I guess for now, I continue to watch and hope that option 3, which is the line stays secure, is the one we get. Well, it's now 7 a.m. I haven't gone to sleep yet. The worst is kind of past us now. The storm has downgraded considerably and has moved more inland. It's not as bad here. We are aground. So we got shoved into the mud. It's not hard aground. Shouldn't have a problem getting off. There's no tides here, so we won't be more grounded, or high tide. We can't count on high tide lifting us up. But yeah, if you look down the row, pretty much everybody's in the mud at some point. And I've been talking on the radio and through text with all the guys forward of us on the other side of the shrimp boats, and they're also, most of them in the mud. One or two, managed to use some side anchors and stick it out. Still very windy, still very gusty. Bow line held like a champion. I hadn't even checked on the stern anchor, which we didn't break the line, but I think we drug it pretty hard. Yeah, we'll have to reel that in and see what happens. I'm not super upset that you can see all the masts forward, how everybody's up in the tree line. They're on the mud. I'm not upset about being in the mud, truthfully, because it kind of holds you. And if you're not hard in there, there's no waves banging us up and down. Oh boy, let me get out of this. So they recorded an 89-mile-an-hour gust just a couple of miles from here. I'm sure we got something very, very close to that. It was insane. There was some bad stuff, but it's not done at 7 a.m., but the worst is behind us. So should be all tropical storm at this point, 35s and 40s. And we are gently seated in the mud, and I mean, you can still see there's a little roll to us. We're just like Ken, there's a little wobble, but we're not moving very far. So here comes a pelican just scraping the water line. Man, it has been a very, very long day. So, unless it's something major, I'm probably not gonna need to say much more. I'm gonna go take a nap. Again, I feel pretty confident in our location. I may, before I go to sleep, verify that stern anchor is not, well, I don't know where it's at. It was way out back, and clearly it's not anymore, so we'll see. Anyway, talk to y'all later. I should have checked the clock, see what time it is. The wind is much more out of the south now. You can see, if you look at the trees on the opposite side, this face, not a lot of blow. And this face over here, a lot of blow. Looks like there's some kind of hatch cover or fabric over there. I don't know what it is. Anyway, I don't think it's mine, but it is the right color. I have to check on that. So now the wind is coming from that direction, coming across the top of the trees. So that's the protected side, and you can see the water's very smooth over on that side. I'm on the ground. Slowpoke's on the ground. Everybody's on the ground, right? The wind, once it shifted south, it blew everybody into the mud. So not happy about it, but it is not as bad potentially as breaking a line, dragging, and things like that. So there are bonuses here. We'll just have to see how it goes. Probably get sea tow to come drag us off the rocks. Sorry, I had to clean the lens. Correction, we are not on rocks. Probably have to get sea tow to come drag us out of the mud. I have a deeper keel than Slowpoke, and I'm heeled over a little more. Whoa, man, that wind really leans the boat. So we bought the sailboat for adventure. You know, sail around the world and see places and experience new things. All right, I've experienced this one. I do not feel the need to experience it again. I now have 2 hurricanes under my belt, and I have known how to sail for 4 months. So I feel like that's not the right way to do it, but whatever. It is what it is.
done. We were safe. We were sound. No damage.
That we know of.
But now we've realized we really need to be at the ready at all times. And this was hopefully the last, and it was the last hurricane of the season. But
It was also a late season hurricane.
it was a very late
So
season.
it
We were
was
not expecting-
unexpected.
But it did show us that when you think you have time, don't count on it. So, strike
prepared.
while the iron is hot.
That's right.
Literally.
Be prepared.
Anyway, so that's it for this video. Next week, we're going to be doing, we get on it. We got to get those batteries installed. We got to get that inverter installed. And we got to get that solar up. Because this will not happen again. Mark my words.
Thank you guys for watching. If you made it this far, please consider giving us a like and subscribing to our channel. And don't forget to hit the notification bell. You can also follow us on social media. We're on Facebook and Instagram at For Love of Wind. And we'll see you next time.
Bye. All right, that was a good one. Do you want to do that take over again? I thought that was really good.
Okay, I think that was